They said humans were unpredictable. But no one in the Galactic Academy really believed that. Not until Lyra of the Marin species decided to sit beside one. It started as a dare. The Academy was hosting its first joint training program between humans and aliens. Students from over 50 worlds had come to learn together: scientists, engineers, warriors, and pilots. Humans were the newcomers. Strange, stubborn, unrefined. Most species kept their distance, amused by their old-fashioned habits, eating solid food, sleeping for long hours, and smiling too much. Lyra had no interest in them. As a proud Marin, tall, scaled, and elegant, she believed humans were little more than clever animals who'd stumbled into the stars. So when her friends dared her to sit next to the human cadet during engine systems class, she accepted without hesitation. The human's name was Alex Carter. He was quiet, broad-shouldered, and always tinkering with something: scraps of metal, circuits, things no one else could make sense of. He kept to himself, earning whispers and rumors. Some said he'd served in something called the Earth Fleet. Others claimed he'd built his own ship. Lyra didn't care. She just wanted to prove a point. The lecture hall was crowded that morning. Dozens of species filled the room, humming, clicking, or murmuring in their own languages. When Lyra slid into the empty seat beside Alex, a few of her friends stifled laughter. Alex looked up, surprised, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Morning." Lyra gave a curt nod. "I was told this seat was available." "Yep," he said simply, then went back to adjusting the small metallic bracelet on his wrist. Lyra peeked at it, curiosity prickling despite herself. The device didn't match any known tech. It pulsed faintly, like it was alive. "What is that?" she asked. Alex looked up again. "Prototype interface. You could say it helps me connect." Lyra smirked. "Connect? With what?" "Primitive engines." Alex just chuckled. "Something like that." The professor began the lecture: quantum drive harmonics, reactor control theory, dull but complicated stuff. Alex listened quietly, but his hand kept brushing the bracelet, adjusting tiny switches. Lyra leaned closer, teasing, "Are you afraid your toy will break?" Alex grinned. "Worried you'll touch it?" She scoffed. "I have no reason to touch human machinery. It would probably explode." He raised an eyebrow. "Only if you do it wrong." The class continued, and the two barely spoke. But curiosity gnawed at Lyra. The bracelet shimmered with strange lights, rhythmic, almost responsive. She waited until Alex turned to speak to the professor. Then, grinning mischievously, she reached out and tapped the device. A soft hum vibrated through the air. The lights flared, red, blue, gold, before stabilizing into a pulsing glow that matched her heartbeat. Lyra froze. What did I just?" Alex spun around. "You touched it." She swallowed. "It's just a bracelet." He blinked, then groaned, rubbing his temples. "It's not just a bracelet. You activated it." The room dimmed for a moment as power flickered. Students looked around, confused. A few whispered. Lyra's wrist tingled. The bracelet detached from Alex and slid onto her own arm, locking in place. "What is this thing doing?" she demanded. Alex's voice was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "It's an adaptive neural interface. It bonds with the user's bioelectric field. It wasn't supposed to attach to anyone else." Lyra tugged at it. It didn't move. "So get it off." "I can't," Alex said softly. "It's alive now." The lights in the classroom flickered again. The bracelet emitted a low hum that deepened into a pulse. Then, impossibly, a holographic field projected around Lyra, blue and translucent, like an energy cocoon. Everyone gasped. The professor shouted for security. "What's happening?" Lyra cried. Alex's voice dropped. "It's syncing with you. It's learning your neural pattern." "But why me?" He hesitated. "Because it chose you." Before anyone could respond, the holographic cocoon pulsed, and the world changed. The walls of the classroom dissolved. Lyra found herself standing in a vast metallic corridor surrounded by shifting energy flows. Alex appeared beside her, his image flickering like static. "Don't panic," he said quickly. "You're inside the interface. It's projecting a neural simulation. It's trying to read you." "Read me?" "Yeah. It doesn't trust anyone new unless it knows who they are." Lyra turned in a slow circle, heart racing. Streams of light surrounded her, forming vague images, memories, emotions, fragments of her life. Her childhood, her homeworld, her late sister, laughing under the twin suns. She gasped. How does it know? It's designed to adapt, Alex said softly. I built it from a mix of human tech and alien biointerface code. It reacts to empathy. It mirrors your emotional frequency. So it's feeling what I feel. Exactly. The lights changed color, warm gold, then deep violet. The bracelet's hum softened, almost like a heartbeat. And then Lyra felt it. Connection. Not mechanical, not cold, something alive. A pulse that wasn't just energy, but emotion. She looked at Alex. It feels human. He smiled faintly. That's the point. For a moment, neither spoke. Then the simulation dissolved, and they were back in the classroom. The bracelet's glow faded to a soft blue. The room was silent. Dozens of eyes stared at them. Fear, awe, curiosity. Lyra's professor approached carefully. What just happened, Cadet Lyra? She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, the bracelet projected a hologram into the air. A symbol, human, and beside it, her own species' crest. The two emblems merged into one. Alex whispered, bonded both of us. The professor stared in disbelief. A human device fused with Marin bioenergy? That's impossible. Lyra looked at Alex, really looked at him for the first time. The calm confidence, the strange warmth in his eyes, the quiet way he spoke. It wasn't arrogance. It was understanding. When class dismissed, she walked beside him in silence through the corridors of the academy. The halls were alive with whispers. The Marin who touched the human. The interface bond. The impossible link. Finally, Lyra stopped. Why would you build something like that? Alex looked up at the stars through the glass ceiling. Because I was tired of being alone. She frowned. Alone? When humans first joined this academy, he said, no one wanted to sit beside us. We were the outsiders. The dangerous ones. I wanted to prove that we could connect. Not through treaties, not through politics, but through empathy. Real understanding. So I built something that could make that connection real. Lyra stared at him, her chest tightening. And it worked. With me. Yeah, he said softly. With you. The bracelet pulsed again, faint, warm, like shared heartbeat. From that day, Lyra and Alex became inseparable. Not because of the device, but because it made them see each other differently. They trained together, studied together, argued and laughed. The academy watched them with fascination, the first true bond between human and alien minds. Over time, the device evolved. It began to react not just to touch, but to trust. It protected them in simulations, linked their thoughts during experiments, and once, during a training accident, saved their lives by generating a shield when their shuttle's reactor failed. The entire academy began to rethink what they knew about humanity. Lyra would later say that the bracelet never stopped humming, that she could feel Alex's heartbeat through it even when he wasn't near. And one night, sitting under the twin moons of Veres, she asked him quietly, when I touched your device that day, were you angry? Alex smiled. At first, yeah. Why? Because it wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. He paused. But then it showed me who you were. Brave, stubborn, curious, kind. It made me realize something. What? That maybe the universe didn't bring us here by accident. The bracelet glowed softly between them, two colors pulsing in perfect sync, human blue and Marin gold. Lyra reached out and touched his hand. Maybe not, she whispered. Years later, when the Galactic Union unveiled its first symbiotic interface program, a technology capable of bridging consciousness across species, they credited two names. Lyra of Marin Prime and Alex Carter of Earth. The scientists called it Project Unity. But those who knew the real story simply called it what it was, a prank that changed everything. Because one curious girl had sat beside a human and accidentally activated something wild. Something that felt like understanding. Something that felt like love. Hook for YouTube intro. She sat beside the human as a prank. But one touch of his strange device linked their minds, showing her everything he felt. And that moment changed the galaxy forever.